Damn it. I should.
2017, all right? We stopped fucking with y'all.
Right, and go ahead and, everything is just. Hello, hashtag VersTEAv family, and welcome. It's week 1 VersTEAv186 and as par for the course for hashtag VersTV's introductions, I'm Aaron Mack, if I didn't say that. But I will pass the baton on to our good friend, Basic Complexity, to take it away with our song decisions for the week. Basic Complexity, what do you have to say? Kevin, my friend.
All right. Well, first, wanna say, hey, what's up, everybody? Now, if you've been watching us for a while, you should know that typically I've switched it up. Like 1 week, new song first, another week, old song first. This week in particular, it'll be the newer or new-ish song. Obviously not brand new, but within the last 10 years. So somewhat new. And my fairly new song for this week would be the song called Do It by Chloe and Halle. And just wanna say I loved the music video. Can we say eye candy? Yeah, and I'm sorry. The song is from the 2020 album Ungodly Hour. And like I said, I didn't even hear the song until I saw the music video. And yeah, it got my attention. That's what I got.
Nice. All right. Echo, stop. Sorry. But absolutely. I forgot to look up the year for my release for my new song. And my new song is 2021, and that is Up by Cardi B. And I had to shout out our good friend CJ, who, in my opinion, did an outstanding C mix to the song Up. Like, it was amazing. And I went to this event with a friend of mine not too long ago up here in Cleveland, and they played Up at the event, and it was I guess a mixed crowd. Well, not I guess mixed crowd, but men and women, perhaps of mixed sexualities. When they played Up, it was so interesting to hear however many deep voiced men rapping Cardi B's lines for line. And maybe heterosexual men love Up too. You know, I mean, she's Cardi B, right? Like she's she's wonderful. Like, who doesn't love Cardi B? I'm now loving Cardi B. And it was interesting hearing the deep voiced men rapping Up, you know, a face bump, ass stack, rack stack of sack height, you know, and hearing the men like face bump, ass stack, rack stack of sack height. It's like, okay, all right, very cool. And it reminded me years ago, I went to a Pride celebration in DC Pride. And well, at the time, I think I was living in DC or maybe Laurel. And at that was actually the event where I met Last O. And at that event, Nicki Minaj was new. Okay, and this will sort of give everybody a time frame for it. But Nicki Minaj was new, somewhat new. And it was when she had that duet with Ludacris, My Chick Bad, My Chick Bad, My Chick Hood. And hearing the gays loved some Nicki Minaj. Just hearing all of those deep voiced men rapping like word for word Nicki Minaj's 16 or whatever for the hot cream. I'll write it hot 16. But hearing them rap her part of that song, it was like it was just magical, like being in the club and just hearing those deep anyway. I'm sorry, I'm a sexual man. I can't help it. Let me shut up. Basic Complexity and the new song.
All right, the old song.
Yep, that too.
All right. Well, one that was kind of funny, but all right, fairly, well, crazy, but fairly older song. I cannot believe it's been that long. All right, it's not incredibly old, but I'm pretty sure most of you or some of you may remember the song by Solange and song TLNY, which is basically what is acronym for the other night why. And yeah, I just immediately fell in love with the song. Let's see. Yeah, and the song was from back in 2008. Her album, was it Soul Angel and the Hadley Street Dreams? Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yes.
And my older song, oldish, we're sticking with the early 2000s here, right? And for me, it's a little bit older. Once again, I'm taking it back to my musical heyday, if you will, 2002, with Mariah Carey's song "The One" from her Charm Bracelet album. I love and have loved that song for years. Like every guy that I would date, I would always be like, but I'm scared and I'm nervous that you might be the one. And I promised myself that I wouldn't give in to love. And every guy, but I was talking with Basic Complexity before the show about how songs like that from 2002, and for me, like I realized that was what, sophomore year in college, and I was like in my earliest of early 20s, and Whitney Houston also released one of my favorite albums around that time with Just Whitney, and I loved both of those albums. Like that was dueling divas, if you will, and dueling divas with great albums. And I was talking to Basic Complexity. I was like, you know what I just thought about? We were really like the target demographic for the music industry at that time. So is it that we love those albums because they are so uniquely exceptional? Or is it that they're uniquely exceptional in addition to the fact that musically it was really catering to us? You know, like the music industry doesn't really cater to the 39-year-olds like not like that, you know, not like the 21-year-olds. But actually, yeah, 2002 is the year we turned 21, right? I think that was it. Maybe.
Nah, you said 2002?
Yeah, because both of those albums came out 2000.
We didn't turn 20 until 03.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no.
You are right. Oh my gosh. So that's okay. You're absolutely right. So yeah, 2002 we were 19. So yes, but that point still stands though as far as we were like right in there for the target demographic for the music industry.
Yeah.
That's right. We were 19. That was the year we turned 19. Oh my gosh. Anyway, but yes, I love The One by Mariah Carey.
Yes.
That's one of my favorite songs ever. And it yes. Anyway, so yes, this week, you know what? I will go through what we have in terms of the topics. And this is just me kind of stalling as it takes like forever to pull up, but I'll keep it up. And our topics for this week, the titles of the topics, and you all can find out what they are by staying tuned to the show. Hashtag VersTEAv, stick with us wherever you're seeing us. Thank you. And I see you all out there. Thank you. Yes. And yes. The first topic is hashtag JenniferAndWhitney. The second topic is hashtag WorthIt. The third topic is hashtag OverdueRespect. The fourth topic is hashtag StillDL. And we maybe that will go into a discussion on open marriages and stuff, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Anyway, let's go ahead and get this show on the road. Are you ready, Basic Complexity?
Yep.
Let's do it, my friend.
All right.
Hashtag JenniferAndWhitney, ellipsis, @_ King. Hashtag VersTEAv186.
Saving all my love, saving all my love, saving all my love for you. Saving all my love, saving all my love, saving all my love for you.
Screen text: Jennifer Lopez, Whitney Houston rehearsal footage. All right. So my initial reaction to that was, the golden age of TV is long gone, right? And long gone as in like decades ago, many decades ago. And it's people don't rush home to watch TV like they used to, right? And not families, particularly young families, aren't going to rush home to catch the Grammys like they used to back in the day,
Or even TGIF.
And you know what? You bring up a really good point because I forgot to start my timer. Whoops, sorry. But yes. And yeah. People don't rush home to see TV like they used to back in the golden age of TV. And I think the golden age was like what, in the 50s or something? I don't know. But people aren't rushing home to see the Grammys like they used to. And in a capitalist society, views equal ad revenue. So the views matter, and they would like to do wild, interesting things to get people viewing their shows and such. And similar to what they did with the slap heard around the globe that shall remain nameless, but everybody knows what I'm talking about. But similar to that, they do stuff like that to drum up interest in shows. And I will say that as an 80s millennial, right? I am an 80s millennial. And before my family moved to New Orleans, Louisiana, I spent the first part of my childhood in New York. And as a result, clearly, of course, I love Jennifer Lopez. I do. Like she represents for us. And Also, with any professional vocalist, anybody who sings a lot, you are bound to build your vocal ability and not necessarily show it on albums, because it's like you have a sound on your albums, but your vocal ability must build as you use your voice a lot. So I think it's interesting how they're rearranging the songs to fit J-Lo's vocal range, Jennifer Lopez. And it's like, oh, okay, so that's how they're doing it. Cool. I'm cool with it. And I am curious to hear what they do with it. Now, and again, I love Jennifer Lopez. And in all of my 39 years, every single Puerto Rican brother who I dated, with Jennifer Lopez was like queen of everything, period. Everything. The undisputed champion, period. And I respect that. Now, I stand for Whitney Houston, and I would try to be like, well, what about Whitney? And they'd be like, J-Lo. And I'm like, oh, okay. But of course, somebody like Yolanda Adams or Jennifer Hudson would be a better choice for Whitney Houston's legacy. But the Grammys don't give an F about Whitney Houston's legacy. They're just wanting to get butts in seats and eyes on screens. And I think that many will be surprised. Oh, yeah. And that was it. They're just trying to get butts in seats and eyes on screens. And Basic Complexity, maybe I'll finish in the 1 minute.
Oh, all right. All right. After hearing this, I could honestly say that Jennifer Lopez was or has a voice, definitely. Now, she really isn't a belter, but she does have a voice. She could carry a tune. And that's what I have.
Okay. And my one sentence is, I think that many will be surprised. That's it. Basic Complexity, what's your one sentence, my friend?
All right. Now, I like Jennifer Lopez. We make that very clear. But in my personal opinion, just me, I personally like her third album, This Is Me Then, the best.
Me too. That's my favorite Jennifer Lopez album. It's my understanding that she's, side note, doing something because she started that album in relation to Ben Affleck, allegedly, or whatever, and now that they're back together or whatever, she's doing a like This Is Me Now or something. And but yeah, This Is Me Then was like my favorite Jennifer Lopez album. And I love me some Jennifer Lopez. Like I said, you know, I spent the first part of my childhood in New York, so I have to. But anyway, and I'm gay, right? That part. Anyway, but yes, okay. So are you ready to move on to the next topic, my friend?
Yep.
All right, and I will go first here again. Hashtag WorthIt at Tamsin Fidel. Hashtag VersTEAv186
Dating advice from a 51-year-old who used to be a matchmaker. If a guy is trying to decide between you and someone else, they've already decided. Make the decision for them. If you're single, do not plan your whole weekend around one guy and one date. Keep your options open. This one's gonna be controversial, but don't sleep with somebody on the first date, because what are you gonna do on the second date? And don't spend too much time on a dating app. Once you've made a date, get out the door. Don't spend time texting back and forth. Dating advice from a 51-year-old who used to be a matchmaker.
All right. And this will all come together eventually. So, my initial reaction is I love her and the fact that she owns her age. All right. And she's using her age as a way into her niche. And at 39 years old, yes, I have nothing but respect for that. You know, I dig it. Now, my connection to it, in terms of her 4 points that she made, the first point, I simply don't fully agree with that. And I think about how in my 20s, I messed up potential great connections because they said stuff like, "Oh, well, you're number one, baby, but yeah, I'm dating somebody else, but you're number one," and I would feel bad. I would feel upset about that, and I would run them away with my insecurity as a result, basically. And I now see the error of my ways back then, but I should have put up like a little bit of a fight, but not as much of a fight as I did. Been like, "Oh, you're seeing somebody else? Okay, well, you know, I don't feel great about it, but okay, you know, maybe just a little bit of a fight." Anyway, her second point, I say yes, absolutely. And if they cancel and you haven't made any other plans, your weekend is kaput. So yeah, don't center your weekend around one dude. Okay? And I had to learn myself to enjoy going out with myself, by myself, and going like going to eat with a podcast of mine in one ear or a book of mine in one ear and just be myself, you know. I say one ear because you never know who's gonna approach you for whatever reason, but still just one ear. And even as like a self-care Saturday, you know, self-care Saturday. Anyway, but and I actually had one of those recently. It was dope. And for a third point, yes, but in my thought days, I tell back in my thought days, as far as not having sex on the first date, I would tell myself in my thought days that, well, if I do a really good job sucking him off, he'll stick around, and he'll never stick around. Not for me. I know it happens for some people, but not for me. Not on the first date. And but to make, I don't think that she's saying that sex should be the peak of the connection, the zenith of your connection with somebody. Like second date, what she's saying is after the first date, what else will there be? Basic complexity, I'll finish it in the 1 minute.
Well, you just listed 3 points.
I'll finish in the 1 minute.
Oh, all right. Then, all right, with the first point, I would say, yes, I could understand that type of thing. But if you're younger, then I would suggest exploring the fact that at current you are single. Think about it this way. You are basically trying on different outfits at a department store. Like, you're trying to figure out what works for you. All right. With the second point, I'll say that I completely agree with keeping your options open. You are not tied down as of yet. At the very least, you have a second option, or you can even say a plan B, if you want to call it that. Thirdly, personally, I would not care if you sleep with someone on the first date. Now, I'm not advocating for it, but at the same time, do you? Well, of course, safely. And you want me to go ahead and do the fourth topic?
Yeah, the only reason I didn't do it is because I ran out of time.
Okay. The fourth topic, I agree that you shouldn't be solely focused on a dating app. I mean, these days it is easier, much easier to meet someone that way, but you too should get out at times.
Oh, right. In my 1 minute, followed by my one sentence, I'll finish up. Okay. So, yes, I agree with not spending all your time on the app. And like our fine 1983 brother, Aziz Ansari, said in his book, Modern Romance, he was like, the book suggested that you have about 7 message exchanges, like him, me, 1, him, me, 2, him, me, 3, etc. 7 message exchanges. And then you should start working to meet up in person in a public place, not meet up to like go suck his dick, like honestly, like I used to do. But you got to be safe, y'all. You got to be safe. And but yeah, meet up, like maybe go somewhere for eats, somewhere for coffee if you drink coffee, somewhere for ice cream if you eat ice cream. You should be setting that up by the 7th message exchange, because you don't want to spend all of your time dating online, because the book explained it's a misnomer that it's online dating. You're not dating somebody online, you're meeting somebody from online to date them in person. And my one sentence is, perhaps it's less about where you are currently on the list, his list, without sex, but it's your honest matching plans for each other going forward. And yeah, that's my one sentence. Basic complexity, what's your one sentence?
All right. Well, it's not probably not exactly one sentence, but it's still short. I agree with her statement to keep your options open, because in all honesty, you just never know what will happen.
All right. And our next topic is C. Do you see it's C? Hashtag OverdueRespect at VP. Hashtag VersTEAv186.
Hi, everyone. The United States Congress just passed the Respect for Marriage Act. Long overdue, it's an historic day. What this means is it is finally in law that we will respect, defend, and protect the right of every individual to marry the person they love. It's a good day.
Basic complexity? Sorry.
All right. Let me start by saying I am extremely glad it has now become officially legal in not all marriages, heterosexual or homosexual, have to, or all marriages, heterosexual and homosexual, had to be acknowledged by all states. Oh, and that's what I have.
Okay. Now, okay, that's your whole thing? Cool.
Yeah.
So, for me, I will say this is marvelous news, and it applies to many people. And because when our decades old Roe versus Wade went down, many others, like many people, just voted because like they felt in favor of not realizing they were voting against their own interest. Because anyway, but my connection to it is I remember in an Uber ride slapping five with a lesbian woman or a lesbian Uber driver over the like after we heard about the Roe vs. Wade thing. We were like, yeah, you know what? And I heard that they're coming for our gay marriage next, and blah blah blah. And we were like, you know what? Damn it, I'm gonna find my. I said I'm gonna find my husband. And she's like, I'm gonna find my wife. And we were like, yes, and we slapped five to it. And you're like, it doesn't matter, shoot. But fortunately, you know, the Defense of Marriage Act has been passed, so that's not a fight that we're going to necessarily have to have. And for whatever it's worth.
Real quick, I believe it's called Respect for Marriage.
Defensive.
I know,
but let me. You have a 1 minute. You have a 1 minute, my friend. And yeah, for whatever it's worth, I hope that this will lead the general public to have a perception that's more in time, more in favor of all types of love, including Q plus love, and that it doesn't matter what other, but it doesn't matter what other citizens approve of or disapprove of, but it would be nice to have them grow to accept consenting adult love, consenting adult love, consenting adult love. And it, as long as that's there, I think it would be good. But again, it doesn't really matter what the general population thinks. You know, we just like I slapped hands with our lesbian sister Uber driver. You know, we gonna make it happen. But fortunately, things are moving in the right direction. Now, I'll save the rest. Well, I have my one sentence that I'll say afterwards. But basic complexity, what's your if you have a follow-up and a 1 minute and a one sentence?
Actually, I don't have a follow-up.
And what's your one sentence?
Okay, and probably didn't separate this, but all right, I'll just say, like I said that earlier, heterosexuals and homosexuals marriages have to be acknowledged by all states. It's a new federal law. So, yeah.
bow. There it is. All right. And my one sentence is, now we must move the hearts of the rest of America to realize that, like Madonna sang in the earliest of early 90s, beauty's where you find it. Vogue, 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 Vogue. Oh, right. And are we ready to move on to our last closing topic? Hashtag StillDL @_individualist. Hashtag VersTEAv186
Listen, I felt like cooking with grease this morning, and this needs to be said. If you DL, you are not a prized possession, okay? You are not trending. You have stopped trending around 2016, 2017, all right? We stopped fucking with y'all when y'all kept catfishing us on Grindr and killing our trans girls, all right? We don't do DL anymore. So for y'all to keep hitting us up in our DMs and in our goddamn dating apps talking about what's up and don't want to see no picture because you DL and you got wife and kids, fuck your wife and fuck your kids, okay? And for you to say, oh, don't worry about it, I'm attractive, you know, your perception of attraction may not be my same, you know, perception of attraction. Every DL person is not attractive, right? And secondly, every person that you hit up ain't no bottom. Every gay guy that you hit up is not a bottom, all right? And just because you DL doesn't make you a top, all right? So no, just give me a butch queen that work at Sephora that do hair or something. I don't have time for this bullshit.
Oh, sorry. Well, first off, I will say that I fully agree with them, and it was kind of funny. And just for me personally, DL dudes really, in my opinion, lost any type of attraction to me back in 01 or 02. It just got to a point I really didn't feel like dealing with it anymore. Too secretive for me. Yeah, and I'll hold that last sentence.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And I will say, I thought it was funny when he said, fuck your wife. It would have been like extra funny if he didn't say fuck your kids too, because I was like, it could have worked doubly, because it's like, fuck your wife. Go home and fuck your wife. You know, don't try to fuck me. But it, my connection, and it reminds me how he was like that went out with 2015, 2016. And the first thing I thought about was how in 2015, yes, don't hate me, y'all, but this gorgeous chocolate brother, dark chocolate, hit me up talking about how he was in an open marriage, right? An open marriage. And I believe that people can do whatever they want to do in their relationship, as long as they're particularly upfront and forward with their spouses. You know, if they mutually decide that they want to do something like that, cool. But he asked me to come over to suck him. And interestingly enough, while I was intrigued by his invitation to suck, I said no. And even though I am a sexually free talking individual, I really don't have a whole lot of sex. I kind of remember years ago Mariah Carey was talking about how she's like, I know people think that because I dress like this and do this and that I must be having a lot of sex. And she's like, I could actually count on one hand the amount of people I've had sex with. I really don't have a lot of sex. And anyway, suffice it to say, I really don't have a lot of sex. But I think that people should be more sexually open with or less uncomfortable with sex, right? But ultimately, I turned him down, and I think that was potentially a really good thing because who knows, he might have been like deadly catfish, like pretending to look as that beautiful. Then I get there and he's like some, Jeffrey Dahmer bullshit, No. So yeah, DL. Oh man, really? I'll finish him. I had enough. Yeah, DL people are demonized in society, and I think that people should not lie. I think you should live your truth, and hopefully, the Defense of Marriage Act will further shift culture, and more people will stop and avoid being DL. Boom. Do you have a 1 minute?
Yeah, just that, yeah, out or not isn't a huge deal to me anymore, but keyword, but definitely not hiding or lying about who I am to please someone else. You don't like the fact I'm gay, you don't accept it, fine. Peace.
Oh, right. And what's your one sentence? Or was that your one sentence?
Yeah.
Okay. And my one sentence is, why are all the fine gay hair folk in Baltimore? And now I'm in Cleveland. I used to be in Baltimore, but now I see all the fine gay hair barbers and stuff are actually in Baltimore. I'm like, anyway, I'm done. But so right. Yesterday we were having a little bit of a free discussion on open marriage. And I will say, and this is our bonus discussion. Are you ready for the bonus? All right. I will say, I give people points for having unique relationships, like Monique and her husband were very open about their open marriage, and I think that's cool. Do I want an open marriage for myself? No, but I think it's kind of like the sexual thing. Like I'm sexually liberated enough to have such conversations. I don't really necessarily want it for myself. And yeah, I'm pretty standard and vanilla, but I love and respect people who mutually desire to step out of society's box with their partner, mutually, not one dragging the other, but matched with somebody else who's equally into the idea of doing something non-standard. And you mentioned Will and Jada yesterday while we were talking, and I was like, are they actually in an open marriage, or are you just spreading rumors, or just speaking on furthering the spread of a rumor? And I looked it up on Alexis, right? Alexis, I'll call her Alexis so I don't activate. But I looked it up on Alexis, And sure enough, it did say that they are open about the fact that they are in an open marriage. So I think that's cool if they're doing something different. What are your views on open marriage?
Well, for me personally, I would never do it. But I mean, like I always say, to each their own. If that works for them, hey, have fun. But it's just not my thing. And it's kind of crazy to say this, but I guess on some level, I'm just about traditional marriage. I mean, not the whole man woman thing. No, not that. Beyond that, just the idea of just two people in a marriage. That's just always been my belief.
I love how you called it traditional marriage, because I'm not gonna lie, and I think that another part of the reason that we're good friends, right, for over a decade, but I think I'm the same way. Like I think people can do whatever they want to do. Again, whatever they're mutually into, mutually, not one person dragging the other to something they don't really want to do, something that they have reluctance to do. But if they're both in it, go for it. But I know for myself, I think it's so cool how you were like, I see myself as more into traditional marriage. And it's like, yeah, now I know some people would be upset with you and us for calling having the audacity to reference any kind of homosexual marriage, homo love marriage as traditional marriage. But I think I feel the same way. You know, I think I like traditional for myself. You know, man. Oh, okay. All right. So we got a few minutes to talk. You know, I I like Kevin Samuels, right? I do, and I be learning from him how to get a man, and I just apply his rules for women to me as a homosexual man. And talking about traditional marriage reminds me of something that comes up with him a lot on the show, or that had come up with him on the show, was that those in the group that say they want traditional marriage but don't want to do the traditional marriage thing. Like, they're like, I want traditional marriage. Well, in traditional marriage, the woman does XYZ, the man does LNN, you know, whatever. I was just trying to do something else. But yeah, and they're not willing to do those things, XYZ, to follow traditional marriage. And I think about myself and how it's like, I'm like, yeah, I want a traditional marriage, me and my husband. And I'm like, but I'm not great at cleaning. I don't I don't think I would love the idea of having the responsibility to clean the house. Like that, I wouldn't dig that too much. Like, maybe I could get into it, but I don't know. You know, like, as much as I want a traditional marriage, I guess, I don't think I would want that kind of responsibility, you know? And just like the women who call into a Kevin Samuels show it's like and he really speaks kind of against women who've gone to college, because of the fact that he's like, when you go to college, you end up thinking you educate yourself out of the realm of other men because you think you're better than in some cases. And that back to the traditional marriage thing, I was just like, I like what I do for my job, so I don't know if I want to have another job taking care of home, but traditional marriage, that could be a responsibility of mine, Would you be cool being responsible for taking care of the home? Or would you be the one to want to bring home the bacon? This dude who I talked to years ago, and this is another one of the few times that I was in the wrong. I won't go into too much detail, but suffice it to say I was in the wrong. And but we never met. We were just talking. But he had a boyfriend, but we never met. We were just talking. And what he said, which I was really intrigued by, he was a very traditional gay guy. And one thing that he said, he owned his own trucking company. He was a trucker, an O&O trucker. And he was like, yeah, I bring home the bacon. It's your job. He wasn't on to me. He was anyway. But again, but we never met. We never met, Basic Complexity. I'm sorry. We never met, but I shouldn't have even talked to him as regularly as I did. But we were just daydreaming. But he's like, yeah, I bring home the bacon. You fry it up. I bring home the bacon. You fry it up, put it on a plate for me. And that was kind of low-key sexy, but I don't really cook, I don't really cook like that. So it's like, if a man wanted me to be that type of man for him, that he brings home the bacon and I fry it up and put it on a plate, that could be a bit of a struggle, because I'll fry up Uber Eats, which just got me in a mound of trouble, but that's another story. But I'll fry up some Uber Eats, some DoorDash for us if you want, baby. But I'm. Are you domestic? Would you accept such a domestic role, Basic Complexity?
Not 100%.
So
I'm the type where I'm like, meet me halfway.
but you talk about traditional marriage, and in traditional marriage, meeting a wife meeting her husband halfway, is a wife taking care of the home and keeping it clean, and a husband taking care of the bank account, keeping it up. So, because
That's traditional, like 1950s marriage.
And that's what Kevin Samuels talks about. He's like, you all want the traditional marriage, but you don't really want to do the traditional thing. But go ahead, finish explaining.
Like I was saying, that's when I say traditional, I guess, I mean, in a sense, traditional. Just two people being married, that being it. And I know everything else is a little different than what it was originally meant for.
So describe your ideal marriage.
Ideal marriage. Alright, pretty much, well, wouldn't exactly be like this, but for
Does
the
he propose
most
to
part.
you?
Sorry?
Does he propose to you or do you propose to him?
That's a great question. Alright. I really don't know. And only say that because really my entire life I've just been kind of nervous about rejection. So it's a 50-50 thing. I don't know if I want to take that risk.
As far as being the one to propose. So it
Yeah.
sounds like you would kind of prefer him to propose. Now, what about after the proposal? What does a marriage to basic complexity, Kevin, look like after the proposal?
After the proposal, and
Got
really,
everything you want.
I'm sorry, say that again.
If you got everything you want in a man,
God, wow, every single thing I wanted.
magic, poof.
That would definitely be different. Then, all right, I'm sorry. What exactly is your question?
What would you want? What would your marriage look like in the ideal? With your
All right,
perfect
in
man?
the ideal, let's say, well, one and probably the most important thing, and I always say this, really it's been with relationships, but even a marriage, definitely base that on a strong friendship because I think that really matters. That's just me.
Okay. So I'll say, and we're at an hour and 2 minutes, so we can go a little bit more. But I'll say that for myself, I'm a creative individual, right? And
Mhm.
I would have a problem with a man who attempts to stifle my creativity in exchange for his taking control of things. Okay?
Yeah.
Like I like a man to take control. I do. And I kind of feel like the women who call into his show that I like him to take control, but where I want him to take control, you know? And it's like, well, that's not really taking control, is it? But where I tell him to, he can take control where I tell him to take control. It's like that's not really taking control. But I don't want. Wow, we're supposed to be talking about open marriage, but I want somebody who I think my ideal would be somebody who's cool with the fact that I don't really clean very well and I don't really cook very well and I don't really intend to. But I do work, and I feel that I could contribute things, other things to the household, you know, and what other things like, and I hate to, oh, I was just about to sound like so many women who call into it, Kevin Samuels show, and they're like, well, I got this pussy, you know, and I could be like, well, I got this mouth, you know, but it's like everybody has a mouth. Every woman has a pussy, you know, so it's like, what makes you unique? So I get that. And I could be like, well, it's my personality. And it's like, many people can have personality. But I don't know. Yeah, because Kevin Samuel will quickly be like, your personality has no value in the dating marketplace. Not for you. And I don't know. I mean, I guess like I could. I don't know. You know what might be ideal, maybe, for both me and my husband, and I'm going to speak it, me and my husband to just have the exact same things that we contribute to our marriage. We equally contribute the exact same things. And I get it, that's difficult for hetero women because society makes it so powerful women have to have more powerful men. Otherwise, if the man is equal to the woman, it looks like he's not doing enough. And that's a struggle for the hetero side, and that sucks. And but for me, I would have no problem with a husband where we're equally contributing on the exact same level.
Yeah.
All right. So for yeah, I think I've already given my point about open marriage. Did you have anything else to say, basic complexity?
And I might have already said this, can't even remember. But well, yeah, might have, I might not have. But open marriages, not a fan of. Open relationships, definitely not a fan of. And just based on my personal, well, people I personally know that life experience, they've been in open relationships. I've never heard one that worked.
Yeah. I think part of the struggle with things like open relationships or polygamy, polyandry, I think they're two different things. But stuff like that working in our society is our society, be it intentional or coincidental, is very. We live in a society that really promotes traditional marriage, at least monogamous marriage. Okay. And anytime somebody steps outside of that, society is kind of like, that's bad, that's wrong, it shouldn't be that way. And I kind of feel like if society wasn't that way, ooh, all right, bringing it full circle. because like with the Defense of Marriage Act, and if we as a society reach the point that we are more open to different types of love from consenting adults, I feel that things like polyandry, polygamy, open marriages, open whatever, would have more of a chance with those who it's meant to have a chance with. And those who it's not meant to have a chance with, me, it won't, but some it will. And society won't look down on it. And because society looks down on it like it's this wrong thing, that gets people all. I think that works against people who've attempted such relationships in the past. What do you think about society's role in working against such open relationships?
All right, I will say, yeah, on some level, society does play a role in it, and can't deny that. As far as open relationships, open marriages, I always say that's what you like. You both agree to it. Do you? I don't care. It ain't my business. But I personally am just not a fan of that.
Yeah. Society can impact that for those who are a fan of it, though.
Yeah.
And maybe with the Defense of Marriage Act, people will learn to be like, that's their relationship. That's not my relationship. It's not my
Exactly.
place to judge whether or not it's good or bad. Those adults can do what they want to do. I don't want what they want. But just like Burger King versus McDonald's, I can pick what I want. You can pick what you want, or Chipotle or whatever. We have different tastes.
Mm-hmm.
Panera Bread. Anyway, I just need to go ahead and get some my dinner meal because I'm clearly wanting food. Anyway, do you have anything else to say?
Yeah, just something that briefly went across my mind. The whole thing, this whole marriage thing, and something I've always believed, even in regards to gay marriage. It's like, how does who I marry affect you? Or and why are you worried about what I do in my bedroom? Because quite frankly, it's none of your business. And I will say, I do have a good friend who lives in Nigeria where being gay, well, more or less could get you arrested or killed. And yeah, like he's definitely moving to the US. Like he's explaining to me the issues they have there, and I'm just like, wow.
See, you're bringing up stuff, and that's a whole new can of worms. I'm actually reading a book now on Great Britain's impact in colonial times on the world as it relates to being anti-LGBT. because many places around the globe, everywhere around the, I don't know about everywhere, but many places around the globe, it was totally fine, including all over the continent of Africa. But in colonial times, Great Britain was like, fuck that shit. Y'all shouldn't be gay. Stop it. And because Great Britain said that and brought that out, and it's amazing reading the book and how it's evolved through the years in different places, Nigeria included, how Nigeria included and India and many other countries. And I didn't even realize that were colonized, you know, but because of colonialism being so anti-gay, anti-same-gender loving, that is what turned the world anti-gay. And what's interesting is now Britain and other places are in favor of gay marriage. And now the thing is they and we look down on people who are anti-gay marriage, even though the reason that they're anti-gay marriage is through some ebb and flow of the law post-colonialism. Because like my granddad said years ago, there was a time that the sun never set on the British crown because they had everything colonized. Everything. And anyway, but yeah, the world should learn to be not anti-gay, because they weren't that way before colonialism. But because people don't know their fucking history, they don't know that. Anyway.
And just for the record, and most of you all should already know this, but just for the record, Great Britain colonized the majority of the planet, not all of, but the majority of it, including here in the United States. We started off as British colonies.
Right. Absolutely. And Australia and many other places. So,
Yeah.
yes. Even parts of Asia, China. So, and I was like, as I was reading that, I was like, I never thought they were colonized.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Huh?
I said I didn't know that.
Yep. Many places were colonized. Anyway, do you have anything else to say?
Nothing I could think of.
All right, my friend. This has been week 188 of #VersTEAv186. I'm Aaron Mack. You can find me at Aaron Mack, AARONMCK, at VersTEAv.com. That's Aaron Mack at VersTEAv.com. You can find VersTEAv all over social media on many different platforms. #VersTEAv. Be it video, be it podcast. We're all over, y'all. Check us out. Subscribe. Follow, bell, subscribe. Everything. You know, we're here regularly. And it's nothing but love. Basic complexity.
Sorry, when you said nothing but love, you just automatically reminded me of that song by Whitney Houston on her last album that she recorded that
Gun
came
for
out.
love.
Yeah, that one. All right, so let me sum this up. All right, Kevin or Basic Complexity, you could find me at Basic Complexity at VersTEAv186.com. And as I always explain, Basic Complexity. All right, you got two words, merge them together. That's it.
Oh,
So, I'm sorry. Last thing. Let me just spell it out for you all who might not get it. It's VersTEAv186 at VersTEAv.com. VersTEAv.
and let me add, y'all, Basic Complexity is officially Googleable. So you can Google hashtag Basic Complexity as well, and I'll bring you right here to us, mostly because he's Googleable. We're all Googleable. That's the whole point. But yes.
One very last thing. All right, hey, just wanna say I'm now officially part of the 39 crowd.
Happy birthday. All right. You know, and your birthday was December 7th. That's
Yeah,
what? Sagittarius. I love all
yeah.
y'all. Yeah. And happy birthday. We didn't announce it on the show, but we're announcing it now. Welcome to 39. We are truly the closest that you can get to almost 40. So yes, we're on just a knocking on the door. 40 and then 50 and 70 and 1,000. Anyway, whatever. But we get the point. As far as VersTEAv living forever, yeah, gotta keep moving. Keep moving.
Yes.
Absolutely. All right. This has been week 188. Talk to y'all later, social media family. Peace. You can point to it. VersTEAv.com.
Point to what?
The logo, VersTEAv.
Uh,
Pow.com. We'll see you all next week. Same everything. Okay.
yeah.